Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits, and I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, where we relax and craft and we work on a project together. Tonight we're continuing the Charming Chevrons quilt by Krista Watson of Krista Quilts. And we snipped apart all our squares from the chain piecing last night. So we have a whole pile of squares that have two seams on them. And then we are going to cut the diagonal and start pressing them open and trimming them down tonight. So here is the giant stack. I'm going to divide these in half to start out because we need... I need some clear brain for to make sure that I have the same amount of each, because we are ultimately going to make these guys, and one goes in one direction and the other goes in the other direction, and so I want to make sure that I have my two piles so I don't accidentally make too many of one going in one direction and not enough of the other one. So I'm going to delineate those two piles really quickly here just so I have some peace of mind, and then we will start cutting them in half, one of the piles, cutting them in half, and I think I'm going to press them open and trim them down right away too. Instead of doing one task all at once, I think I'm going to combine them tonight. We'll see how that goes. So that is the plan. Again, it's the Charming Chevrons quilt by Krista Watson, and it has a link here in the Facebook post if you wanted to check that out. And all the replays for this will be up on my YouTube channel at Penguin and Fish Movies, and I'll get this uploaded when we're done here tonight. So thanks again for joining me. I'm going to flip you around. Let's get going on this, dividing up this stack. All right. I still have the sewing machine out here and everything, so I'm working on my little table tonight. I thought we'd divide it up first. You guys had a good idea last night, maybe putting it in a bag or something, and then I'm just gonna pick from this. I'm gonna kind of stir it up a little bit. I don't want to mess it up too much, just because I don't want to fray the edges all that much, but I do want it to feel kind of random. So I am gonna just swirl it around here, and then we'll just start willy-nilly grabbing and making our piles, and we'll see what we got when it's all divided up. So I think I'll throw this beneath me here, and I'll just start grabbing on either side, and we'll make two piles here. And I'm not gonna, you know what, I think I'm just gonna I'm not gonna line everything up or anything either. We're just gonna grab and pick. So this will take a little bit of time. Every step is going to take time on this project, but I feel like this is going to just save me some mental space later, because I'm scared I'm going to accidentally make too many of one side and not enough of the other. So we'll see what pops out of this when we're done. But let me know how your guys' day went today. It was warm here. It was in like almost 40 degrees here today, which is crazy town. It hasn't been like that for a little while, and you know, it's been negative a bajillion. So it's a nice change for sure. But yeah, I've been just sitting by our little new fireplace and just trying to enjoy that as much as possible too. Oh, you received your fabric today, Barbara? Awesome. Oh yeah, I know, that's what's so funny, Kathy, is it's the same in Florida. Yeah, my sister-in-law posted another picture from North Carolina where they had like 7 inches of snow or something, right? Oh man. Ooh, fun, Patricia. That's exciting. But yeah, you know, and they just moved this year, so it's like, they told me it was going to be so nice here, and, you know, and, but now they They just have all that snow and they left Wisconsin where it's all full of snow. So I think it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. Oh, it's morning here in Thailand, Kathy. Oh, very warm, 95 there. That's nice, Kathy. Hoo-wee. That'd be quite the change in weather if we had a switch like that. All right, I'm just stirring up my little pile a little bit more. I do have lots of purple, so purples will be on both sides quite a bit, I'm thinking. I'm just hoping I don't accidentally grab two of the same. Patricia, I am just dividing up my stack, hopefully relatively randomly, into two piles, because ultimately we're going to sew a pile in this direction and the other one is going to be sewn in that direction. And I'm just nervous that I'll mess it up if I have one big pile and I have to count. So I'm just going through my one big pile and dividing it up right now. Oh yeah, so my blocks are going to be super random, I'm hoping. So I've been looking at some of your blocks that you're posting on the Penguin and Fish Crafters page, some of you guys, and it's so pretty when you're putting like similar colors together and you know, or all one stripe is the same color and everything. So I think if you're doing that, it's turning out super fun. I'm making mine way more random. Like I'm going to just make it random which ones are going this way and which ones are going that way. And then we'll just lay them out on the floor and see what we get. And then I'll rearrange a little bit, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time rearranging. I still want it to feel kind of random. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. So after I divide these up tonight, we'll start dividing them. So the next part is we're gonna trim them in half. Yep, I'm actually mixing them in a bowl and I'm picking randomly. You know, it might not end up being, well, you know, a lot of purple might be on one side and not as much on the other side, but that's okay. You know, that's part of the randomness, I suppose. So we'll just see what happens with this. But man, now I'm nervous about accidentally grabbing too many on one side and not the other. And there might be extras, because remember, I cut extra purple at the end, and I might have had a few extra, so there might be an odd number here, which, you know, ultimately in the pattern there's not an odd number. So if we have one laying about, I'll just put that one to the side, and if we end up needing it later, then we'll have it. It's just gonna be, you know, it's controlled chaos is what I'm hoping for. A little bit. And, you know, this process right now for me, just blending all these and plopping them down is a little bit of controlled chaos. We're almost through my little bin here. Then we'll get cutting. And I'm thinking instead of just doing all one part of the process right away, which is kind of what I did the last few nights. I just did the one chain piecing everything together, right? I think tonight, instead of doing that, I'm going to go through part of the process. So I'm going to cut the diagonal of just one, and then I'm going to press just the one open, and then square it up. I did not get the block lock rulers yet, so I'd still like to give those a try. I mean, we'll be doing this for a little while yet, so I'm still gonna look into it, and for future projects I want want to check them out for sure. But it's still on my list, Janet. I'm gonna try and snag some of those, hopefully. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun. Give a new ruler a try. But yeah, especially if I'm doing this one at a time now, not like all as a big group, we'll be here for a little while. All right, that's good to know. Yeah, so all right, so for the first few nights, we'll try it out with just my square ruler, and then if I can get the block lock ones in time, I can give those a try for the rest of them. Okay, just a few more. I think they're just rulers with some special markings on them, aren't they? Or do they have more going on with it? Like, do they have a little ridge or something? I'm not quite sure. All right, you guys, we do have one extra. And you know what? I think I'm going to replace a purple one with the patterned one. So I'll have one extra on the side here in case I need it. Oh, they slip for you? All right, well, it'll be a fun thing to test, I think. So, all right, one pile. I'm going to put this other pile on the side. So I'm going to put this behind me so it's completely out of my way and I don't accidentally grab from it. So this is going here. Oh, so it does have a ridge. Okay, so that's what I'm kind of interested about. All right, throw this in the ground. Okay, so here is our first half. And so we're going to go through this whole half first, and then I'll switch over to the second pile eventually when we're done here. So, all right, I'm going to just throw this to the side, and we're going to just take one off the top here. Actually, I think I'm going to put these in front of me here so I can just grab. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to trim off, get this guy out just because I like using my rotating mat, but I'm going to trim the diagonal and then I'm going to press it right away. So I'm going to just scooch this way too. And then I think I'm actually going to trim both sides right away as well. So we'll get like the whole process of each one. And the reason I'm kind of doing that is because I need to keep both halves of the half square triangle. I need to keep both together because when we sew it together, the matching two squares get sewn as that one side of the chevron. So I figured, well, if I finish the process for a whole thing, then I can have them stacked right next to each other and I won't accidentally lose a triangle. So I think that's the plan. And we'll see if we enjoy that. That way I figured I'm not pressing constantly for an hour, for a couple of days. I can change things up. Like, so we'll do this little sequence. So first up, I'm cutting it in half on the diagonal. That's that line, that pencil line that we originally drew. And there, now we have basically two half square triangles with like minimal waste, which is really fun. But this is why I want them together, because you know, we need the two next to each other to make that diagonal. And look how cool this fabric is. I love it! All right, so let's press them open right away. I want to press them and trim them right away. So I'm going to throw that there. We're going to try some left-handed pressing again. Oh, no, you square it up. No, the squaring up happens after, Patricia. So I'll show you why. So, all right, first I'm going to press to one side just to get the pressing started. And she does say in the instructions to press open, and I think one of the reasons for that is that when you free motion quilt, the flatter it is, the better, or the less bulky seams, the better. And pressing it flat aids in that. And by pressing it flat, or pressing it open, that's what I mean, not pressing it flat. But by pressing it open, what I mean is that I'm I'm not pressing the seam to one side or the other. I am actually opening up, so half the seam is over here and half is over there. So that's one. I'm gonna just, since I pushed on it, I'm just gonna give it a little press on the front too. All right, that's our first guy that we'll trim, and then the same thing here. I'm gonna just give it a press on one side just to set the seam a little bit, and then press it like that, and then we'll flip it and we'll open the seam. Just get it started there. And press our seam open. Which a lot of times when I quilt, I don't like doing. I kind of like pressing it to one side, but I'm sticking with instructions for this, and you know, I haven't done a lot of free motion quilting, so I'm gonna go with what it says just for that. So all right, so now we have our first two. This is when I'm gonna square it up. So these ultimately need to be 4.5 inches. So I'm gonna use this OmniGrid ruler. It has a diagonal on it, which is really helpful because I can put that diagonal right on the diagonal seam. This is when, Patricia, this is when we square it up. And we want to do it now because now is when we want like the perfect square. If we do it before, it's not going to end up being the right size, and we'll still have our dog ears and everything. This is when you square it up. So all right. We're really close though, like we're right at the 4.5 inch. There's hardly any waste in this, so I have to make sure that I even have the 4.5 inches to work with, because in some of these, all I might be doing is cutting off the little dog ears. Like in this case, I'm just gonna kind of snip there. Ooh, I need to have enough room to rotate here. Scooch over a bit. We'll just go all the way over. So again, matching up that diagonal. Get that out of the way. So we got the one good cut side. And we'll get a little faster at this as we get going too. All right, so that's the first two sides. Then I'm gonna rotate it. There we go. So it's in the lower right corner, and we'll do the other two. Sometimes I like angling it because I can get in there like this. Sometimes I can get two cuts. Now this time is when I'm gonna line up the diagonal and also line up the 4.5 inches on the edge here. So we get that perfect 4.5 inch triangle with the diagonal. So I think that looks decent. There we go. So that is our first real finished square, our perfect half square triangle, all trimmed and ready to sew up. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit so I have a little bit more room to cut. But all right, so now we're gonna do that with our other block here. First do the first two edges. Again, align that diagonal. Make sure you got the 4.5 inches available. There we go. Shimmy those out of the way. And, you know, I can just rotate the whole thing, or I can rotate the piece. But it is nice to cut to just shimmy it a little bit. So will the block rods, if the seams are pressed open? Oh, that's a good question, Robin. Man, I don't know. I'm curious about the lock. Wait, block? It's lock block, right? The lock block rulers. Yeah, because I'm guessing it just butts up against the seam, right? But yeah, if it's open, then that might change things a little bit, wouldn't it? I don't know. I will have to look into that. All right, just a teeny bit of waste, and that's it. Like this quilt, I mean, you're conserving fabric with this quilt for sure. Like there's a way to make half square triangles where you have a whole pile of triangles left over. This time we only have a little bit of fuzz left over, so that's kind of awesome. So there are our first two all ready to go. So the thing is, it could either go this way or it could go this way, the chevron. So in this first pile that I'm doing, I want them all the same way. I suppose we could already line them up like this. So we could line them all up going this direction right away, just put them on top of each other. I don't think I'm going to bother so much with that. I'm going to just, all I want right now is, well, maybe that would be good to do right away. Line them up in the direction I want and then stack them. And then when I'm ready to sew, I can just grab them and fold them in half and they'll all be in the same direction already. I think let's do that. So we're going to start from the right upper or the left upper corner and going to the bottom right here. So let's just lay them like this. I'll put the bottom one on the top. This is our first pairing. So that's what the important part is that I keep the pair together. So I have that same color chevron going. So I'm going to throw that there and we'll just grab the next piece and do that whole process again. Unfortunately, my square ruler isn't quite long enough for the diagonal. So I'm going to just grab my longer ruler here. Diagonal, and next we press them open. All right, again we'll just start by pressing to one side. Oh, that's a good idea. I could put them right sides together. Well, actually, I like seeing them. I like seeing them both and then flipping them right before I sew them. So I think I'll just leave them. I'll leave them not right sides together. Like I like that one extra level of inspection. You know what I mean? Like right before I sew, I want to make sure that I'm doing it right versus just having all prepped already. Maybe that's a little crazy, but I just like that extra security of flipping it right before and you're just using your scissors to split them? To trim them down, or what do you mean? Oh, to cut them in half? Oh yeah, you can totally use a scissors for that. And I think, once we get into a rhythm of this, it'll start going too. But what's making me happy about doing it this way is that I'm not pressing the whole time, because remember, that's the thing that, I don't know, there's something about pressing and cutting. So it's the pressing and cutting that are my two least favorite things. And I think maybe it's because they're both the highest danger things. Like I could burn myself or I could cut myself. So I think maybe that's what my deal is with that. We'll see. So anyway, got two more trimmed. We can, where's my diagonal? There we go. Can get these guys cut down. There's my 4.5 inches. Oh, I keep hitting my, I'm gonna have to scooch over just a hair. There we go. Keep hitting my ironing board. I'm in my tiny little workspace in my kitchen here still, so things hit each other. All right. Out here, fuzz. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, Gretchen. So I'm hoping that the red stays like this kind of just rich looking by the time I'm done with this still too. I think that'll be really neat. I'm excited about the red for sure. All right, there we go. More fuzzles gone. This guy's good to go. Let's do his pairing, and then we'll line them up again. So I'm trying to lay this in a way where I can make the two cuts at once, where I can go like this and then just rotate a little bit so I don't have to reposition. There, now we're getting into a little bit of a system, I think. Flip that around. I could just rotate my mat, but that's easy enough this way too. So I'm lining up that 4.5 inches again now too. So the diagonal and the 4.5 inch. Okay, another set is ready. So again, we're going from the upper left to the lower right, and I'm gonna just put the bottom on the top and we're good. Did you fix up a sewing area somewhere in the house yet? Not yet, but I'm still thinking about that. So I have a little nook in our upstairs hallway, and right now there's just a bunch of stuff there that just all needs to be moved. But I have a little table set up there, and I think I can put my husband's great-grandma's old machine there. I think that would be a really nice place for it. And so, oop, got a little sticker in there. So that's my plan. So we'll see if I get to that this weekend. Oh, I'm standing, Patricia. I'm standing right now. I definitely stand whenever I cut because I need to be right above what I'm cutting. I can't, like if I'm sitting, then I'm like angled this way quite a bit. I need to know that I have that pressure on the ruler straight up and down. I don't think I'd be able to have that pressure if I was sitting down. So I am standing right now. But yeah, just cutting freaks me out too much to, you know, do something that's not just as safe as what I would think something else is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm definitely standing. It would scare me too much to sit. All right, first piece. All right, I'm kind of liking the dividing up these tasks to, or not dividing it up, like having this loop of tasks going. It's making me feel a little bit more comfortable with all the cutting and the pressing. I mean, we're gonna be doing this for a while. We got both stacks of these to do. But that's, you know, this is the big bulk of what we're gonna be doing. After this, we're just sewing chevrons together, and then we'll lay it all out on the ground. So there's not that much to do after this. All right, trim some more dudes. So I don't have to line up the 4.5 inches on the first cut because I have no perfect edges here yet. I just have to make sure that the fabric is within that the ruler is within that 4.5. That 4.5 inches covers the fabric. Like I don't want the 4.5 going off the side of the fabric. There, so first two sides. And then now that we have a good side, a nice square edge, now we can line up the diagonal and the two edges on that 4.5 inch mark. All right, there we go. I know, let's close it right away. Shimmy that off. All right, first one and second one. Yeah, just a few steps, but each one will take a while. Yeah, so instead of, you know, it would take probably just as long if I did each of these steps individually, I think. So I'm combining it a little bit just to make it easier on me. And then I'm moving around a little bit more too. And then in theory, you're not doing the same motion over and over again. So there should be hopefully a little less repetitive stress doing it this way as well. I know some of you guys are doing it in different stages too. Like you have some that are sewn together and some that still need to be cut and all that. And I think that's great. Just whatever makes it work. work well. So, all right, this is our next grouping. Oh, look at these fabrics. They're pretty. Oh, look how patterny it is. Oh, I love it. Okay, that's the next one. Okay, what do we got now? Oh, we got the same one, but in black. It's kind of fun. All right, cutting that diagonal. Make sure you cut the correct diagonal, the one with the seams. Ooh, I must have a nick in my blade. We just changed this blade. Oh, well. You know, you don't want to cut this way because then, you know, you'll be cutting, you won't have your seams there. Let's see what it looks like open with the red. Ooh, that pink in here is pretty with that red. Like this is being, I think, called out quite a bit more because of the red. Our eye goes to the pink, I think, because of that. Get that open. Yeah, that extra step of pressing open, I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm doing it. We're gonna do it. Ooh, there's a little bird hiding in there. Open. There we go. There must be like a little device to make pressing open easier. Like maybe I need like one of those wooden pressers to like hold it while I press or something. I don't know. Something to make it a hair easier. All right, trimming time. Yeah, I would be too scared to do this sitting down. I'm for sure standing through. I'm standing the entire night tonight. Oh, wipe the blade. Sometimes the fuzz will get in the way. Okay, I will try that. I think I have I can get a rag out from right behind me here. All right, here's the one. And yeah, I'm gonna grab just I have just a little towel here. We'll wipe that off. Maybe open it and wipe it too. You want to be careful with this though. I don't, you know, it's still a super sharp blade. I don't want to cut myself. There's a tiny wand iron with a point. Ooh, but I don't have it. A little wand thing to help with opening the seams. Yeah, something like that sounds like it'd totally do the trick. All right, let's do this other guy here. I'm going to scoot you guys down, I think. There we go. You guys can see a little bit better now, I think. Yeah, just like a little stylus wand thing would be good. You know, someone must have made one of those before, all these crafty quilters. And all their innovations to make life easier. It's nice. All right, another pair. There we go. I always get confused with rotating my guys. All right, here's the, oop, got two there. Ooh, little strawberries. Oh, move that back here. We're gonna have all sorts of puzzles when we're done here tonight. Ooh, that's pretty. I like those two together. That red is really good with that one. The red of those little strawberries or raspberries. Oh, the clover iron. You know, we could be using that, except for I got one of those for the Splendid Sampler. There was one project one square that I used it on, one block, and I kept burning myself. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that clover iron. There's some ergonomic things with it that I think are they missed the boat on with that clover iron, that skinny wand thing. Just the whole unit, the heat thing is exposed and it looks like a handle. So you keep burning yourself on that, and the weight of it is kind of weird. Like it doesn't, it kind of hurts to fit in your hand. There are these tube things that work well for pressing seams open that are made just for the one. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look into that too. All these little gadgets. Still, the nice thing about quilting is you don't need any of those gadgets. They just make kind of life a little more fun and a little quicker and more easier. So if you're just starting quilting, I would say don't get any of that stuff. Get like a cutting mat maybe, and a rotary cutter and ruler. But even you don't even need that. You can still just use a scissors for all this cutting too, and it's gonna be just fine. All right, right there. Yeah, I like this. These little strawberries with a black background with this red, I think is really pretty. Oh, put the fuzzles in the jar while I'm doing it. I should do that. I'll have to snag a jar when I'm done here, and tomorrow I can be putting them in there. Right now they're just all to the side. All right, strawberry 1, strawberry 2. This blade feels really sharp yet, and now it doesn't seem to be doing that skipping thing, so that's good. Just needed to be cleaned off a bit. I mean, it's still going through this like butter. There's no resistance or anything yet at all. So I think the blade's still good. Okay, there we go. And there's our matchup right there. Oh, I could put ruler. Yeah, that's true. I could put tape on the ruler so I don't have to sight it every time. Well, I mean, with this little ruler, it's actually okay. You know what? I do actually have I should get that one out. I do have this is actually meant for this. I do have a 4.5-inch ruler that it came as a set, so I should just be using that one, shouldn't I? Let's give that a go. It's already the perfect right size. Should have thought of that earlier. Oh well. I'm so used to using that 6.5 one. All right, let's check this one out. Ooh, they're all fun. I like them all. Yep, this one has a diagonal line too, so it's the same company. And I love like all the little extra marks that they have in here. So yep, it still has the diagonal. We're still good to go, and it's that 4.5. Which is a pretty typical size for blocks, you know, just like what we're doing now. So they know just the right size to make things. Yeah, this part I just could use a little help popping these open. There we go. Yep, that's what I got the ruler for originally.
Deborah, was for the Splendid Sampler, because all those blocks, the finished size was 6.5, or the finished, you know, before it's sewn in the quilt, it was 6.5 inches. Okay, one. Oops. That's a fun fabric still. It's like bejeweled almost, like facets in a diamond or something. A colorful, shiny diamond. Yeah, I could try doing that, like using the stiletto to pop the seam open. I don't think I'm coordinated enough for that. We'll just stick this like this for a little while. I need something fatter. Something fatter than the stiletto. I'm hoping to do like a little color thing. I mean, a lot of times I'm just experimenting. Like, let's just do this color thing that I wouldn't normally choose and see what happens. So a lot of times that's what I'm doing. I'm just like, let's just be bold with this color and see if it looks good. A lot of times what I do is, you know, I'll pick a color that I just want to play with. In this case, it was this really deep saturated red, and I had all these kind of saturated fabrics, and so I just picked the ones that had a little bit of red in, or that looked like it would work well with red, and just started putting those together. And if they didn't have red in, maybe they had a color of something else. All right, so this was smart, using this 4.5 inch one. Then I could just hold my hand there that entire time. See, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. 4.5 inches, rotating mat. I'm putting pressure on it the whole time. I don't have to move it around at all. Things are gonna move faster now. That was smart. There we go. And I can automatically put the ruler within the square. I just need to get it on the diagonal. This is starting to feel right again. I can just shimmy around, keeping pressure on there. Yeah, this is perfect for tonight. Perfect ruler for the evening. Little rotating mat. Working in my little area here. Just right. Shake it off. All right. Like that. Ooh, it's so shiny. Sparkly almost. Ooh, here's the similar one, just in a different colorway. This one's got like an orange sherbety color in it. Ooh, there, that's pretty. That's got some richer color, or some pinks that are closer to this red. Oh, there, that one was easy to open. I haven't burnt myself yet, but I'm kind of feeling like saying that out loud is gonna jinx me a little bit, so hopefully I don't burn myself. I always, I don't know, seem to burn myself with this little guy. Just stop paying attention and then it happens. That's why I'm paranoid with cutting too. Like, I'll just stop paying attention for a moment and that's the time that I slice my finger or something. Freaks me out. That's why when I am cutting, I'll usually stop talking just like mid-sentence because all my energy is going to not cut myself. All right. Let's trim these fellers. Get that diagonal. Move that guy. Shimmy around. Yeah. Loving this ruler tonight, that's for sure. Ruler and 4.5-inch ruler and rotating cutting mat for the win tonight. Okey-doke. And you might notice, this is something I learned during the Splendid Sampler, but I'm starting a little further up on my ruler. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm starting a little farther up. I'm not starting down here because if I start here like I normally do when the ruler is going the entire length and overlapping the fabric, I'll nick the end of my ruler. Like I'll nick the corner of it by trying to cut like there. But if I start a little further up and I just backtrack a hair and then go up, then I won't nick my ruler end. Did I do this side already? No. So that's why I'm kind of going forward and back a little bit. Okay, there's another diamondy looking guy. Now our stack is not getting all that bigger, but it's okay, we'll get there. I think we've had this one already. It's still pretty though, I like it. It's nice to be able to do cutting and pressing in the same workspace. Like I would definitely recommend if you're doing a project like this, having a little ironing board or a little cutting board so you don't have to like walk across the room every single time you have to press something again. If that was the case, then I would definitely do one whole thing at the same time. Like I would cut every single diagonal first and then I'd move my whole pack over to the ironing board and just spend time there ironing. And then come back and do all the cutting. I wouldn't be doing it this way. I wouldn't be doing this loop of this process. Like I wouldn't be doing the diagonal press trim. I would just be doing one at a time. And both are fine. But if you don't want to do that much ironing all at once or whatever, you want to do it more like this, then having all the things right near you is nice. Oh, you nicked the corner of your ruler. Yeah, so that's someone here told me that during the Splendid Sampler, and I've been doing that ever since, just going up little, backtracking, and then going, and it's worked well. But yeah, I have a lot of nicked rulers too, and it just doesn't feel as safe because you're not really starting on that corner. On that edge, you're kind of starting off of it. You know, that's what's nicking it, so it's just a little less safe too. And I don't know, safety when it comes to these blades is totally on my brain all the time. They're so sharp, like they will cut straight through a finger. And I'm just so freaking paranoid about that. That's why I'm totally in the habit of closing it right away too. Like I never would just lay this down now. It's just too dangerous. So if you can, get in the habit of trimming or of closing the ruler after you're done trimming or after every cut. The blade has a tendency to push fabric also. Oh, so starting off the edge and... Oh, if you start off the edge, you don't get a straight cut too. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. Oh my God, Nancy, you learned it the hard way. Oh my God, I don't even, oh man, I can't even hear a story about that. I'll like freak out. I'll get like super faint probably. Oh God, I'm the worst. All right, done with that one. Ooh, this one's got a little deer popping out of there. Fun. All right, we got a similar one here, but in purple. Let's check it out. Ah, pretty. Ooh, that's a pretty blue in there. I'm always kind of amazed at the transformation that fabric has once it's together. Like you can lay the fabric next to each other and be like, oh, that'll look pretty or something, you know, and make your fabric decisions. But I feel like once they are connected by a seam, it changes. Like it just looks so much more finished all of a sudden, and the color or the fabrics, like they live together then, you know? It's different than them just laying next to each other. Oh my God, you knew 2 people that had to go to the emergency room for rotary cutter injuries. Oh my God, yuck! Bet you the doctors are like, what's a rotary cutter? What are you talking about? What are you using that for? That's real dangerous, you know. People who don't know, they always have the confused look on their face when you talk to them about quilting. Oop, grab too many things there. Man, I'm glad you guys reminded me about this 4.5-inch ruler. This is a good thing to remember tonight. So much faster than the first few. All right. We'll just keep rotating. Yeah, and they carry a scalpel around. That freaks me out too. Yeah, once the fabric is cut and made into something, it does take on a new life. And you know it's going to happen, but it's always a surprise to me. Like all of a sudden, these are just a thing that's together, and it's just pretty. But yeah, like just these next to each other like this, it is not going to have the same effect of them actually being sewn together. Like when they're sewn together, it's just, it becomes more real, or they meld together a little bit more. That one's pretty, I like that. Okay. I don't think we've had this one yet with the flowers. I really like this fabric. This one should be pretty with all the red in those. Ooh, I like it. Ooh, look how that kind of teal aqua, you know, greeny color pops. Yeah, and when they become a block, they'll become even more cool. Exactly. It's just kind of magic. I mean, you know you're sewing it together and you know what the fabrics look like and everything, but it still has a little bit of a surprise to it for sure. Ooh, klutz gloves takes getting used to, but peace of mind. What are those, like, for cutting? Like, are they like chainmail or something. I know, like for industrial, you know, like people who cut jeans and stuff like that, they have huge rotary cutters that go through a stack, like a 6-inch tall stack of fabric. And they use rotary cutters, but they have like a chainmail glove, which is kind of awesome. Klutz glove, though, I haven't heard of that. I'm intrigued. Maybe that would give me some peace of mind. Yeah, I think that's why this is always kind of my least favorite part. Just getting them cut, pressed and squared. They take on a new life. Yep, they look so much more finished. It's kind of like a little magic trick that they do. Oh yeah, I really do like this small travel iron. I think I have a link for it in the post here. It's a Rowenta travel iron. I used to have my larger iron, my normal size iron down here, but all these projects that we've been doing every night, the pressing, it's just too heavy. This one is nice. This one is just really nice and light, and it still gets super hot and it warms up quick, and you can put it in a normal outlet and everything still. So I'm loving this. It's weirdly shaped. Like this is where the water goes in for steam. I don't have any water in mine. I'm not using steam or anything. But I totally love it and recommend it. I really like it for my little space here too. It doesn't take up much space, and that's the thing, just the repetitiveness of using it, especially for a project like this. It doesn't hurt my wrist or anything by carrying this heavy thing around. And this one in particular has a little kind of pointed tip to it, which is nice for, you know, when we're opening these seams up. So you have like a little bit of that precision and stuff still. Ugh, see, look, even cutting it down and it all of a sudden gets more finished. I love it. Yeah, just getting rid of those dog ears and all of a sudden it's just prettier and looks like a whole another step. Like I feel like with each step it's not just going a step further, it's making like a leap forward, and that's just kind of fun. They're cut resistance gloves by Fons and Porter. I'm gonna have to look into those. I wonder what they're like. Are they Teflon? Like, I'm curious. Ooh, my blade's getting awfully fuzzy with all these little fuzzles, little snips. To wipe it off again tonight. Okay, let's see what this looks like as a chevron. Oh, that's so pretty, that gray. Oh, look, it almost is in line too, this diagonal. That'll probably change once we sew it together, but it's kind of pretty now. All right. We'll do one more tonight. I don't think we've done this one yet either. This the string of pearls, or the pearl bracelet. I think that's what it's called, pearl bracelet. This collection. Ooh, that's pretty bold. Oh, Kevlar. I have to look into those. Knit Kevlar. Huh. So interesting. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. That's good. I like it. Yeah, this navy is really pretty with this red. It's just bold, red, white, and navy. These three would be good for like a Quilts of Valor quilt. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. You know, I was thinking if I wanted to be actually random with my layout and everything, you know, like how I'm trying to be, I would just sew the chevrons together right away. You know, like I have that left side and the right side one that I already have made. If I was truly just letting it be random, I would have sewn that together into the full chevron, the full block right away. But I guess I'm not being all that random because I want to lay out all the halves and then rearrange the halves. So I guess maybe I do want to get picky with it later. So I don't know. At least the left and rights to each other can be kind of random. Yes, this is super sharp. This deep navy and this red together, and then with that pop of white. All right, and we'll cut one more, and that will do it for the evening. So we will be here several evenings because we have barely made a dent in this pile, I'm telling you. But we could do, you know, we did all parts of the process tonight, you know, or this trio of processes, like the cutting the diagonal and then pressing. We could do one night where we only cut diagonals and one night where we only press, but that means I'd have to press all that time. So I don't know. I think maybe we'll just stick to doing it like this. Then I don't have to move everything. We're working in this little space here. We'll see. But it will be quite a bit of time yet on here. One step at a time and we'll get it done. There, that is sharp. Just that the pops of white in there is going to be kind of cool. All right. So here is this, oops, didn't grab it. Here's the stack so far. I'm going to leave it just where it is so we keep setting them in the same way. But the way I have them laid out should all be exactly the same. So we'll be taking the two, and by taking the top one and putting it down, I should be able to fold it and sew right away. And I'll be able to double check it before I put it in half. Like I could go like this already, but I like the idea of seeing it before I flip it. So there we go. They should all be laid out the exact same. Yeah, the blade is super sharp still. So we only have like this many done. And this is what we have to do yet. And this is just pile number 1. We have all of pile number 2 yet. So we'll be here for a little bit, but that's okay. We'll get her done. Oh, and then here's puzzle pile. Gotta see that. A lot of red in there. Oh, it's a pretty pile though. So we'll keep adding to that tomorrow and we'll be good to go. So, all right, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll call it an evening tonight. Okay, so let me just show you one of them. Here we go. Here's that top one with that blue. I think that's gonna be really pretty. But yay, so we're getting there. We're gonna get these all together. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay organized. The moment something moves, then my brain has to start thinking again and then I get confused. So if I can just keep doing the same thing over and over again and everything is in its place, then I'm usually good to go. So that's the plan. We'll keep going on this tomorrow and we'll do that for the next few days here. And we'll be well on our way for the Charming Chevrons quilt. And here we are again. This is what inspired me to do the bright red. It has just this really bold navy, and I thought that the red would kind of be similar, just like a really bold color back there. So I'm excited. We'll see how this goes. Thanks again, guys. This will go on the Penguin and Fish movies on YouTube, and you can watch the replay there. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Good night.